A sound quality infrastructure provides the necessary assurance that goods and services are of acceptable quality. Again, it promotes the growth of industry, enhances sustainable development, protects the environment, and contributes to good public governance. Such infrastructure is carried by three pillars: metrology, standards and conformity assessment, which includes inspection, testing and certification, all of which are essential for sustainable development. The Ghana Standards Authority, GSA, is the national statutory body responsible for these three pillars. The vision of the Ghana Standards Authority is to become a model of excellence for standardization, conformity assessment, and metrology in Africa. Its mission is to promote standardization, conformity assessment, and metrology for the improvement of the quality of goods, services, and sound management practices in industries and public institutions in Ghana. The authority has 5 main technical divisions: metrology, standards, testing, inspectorate, certification, and 2 support divisions: finance and corporate planning and administration. Standards Division. The Standards Division is responsible for the development and promotion of standards. The development of standards is consensus-based and involves relevant stakeholders who constitute technical committees on subjects for which standards are to be developed. Each technical committee engages in a series of meetings to deliberate on the expected requirements of what should constitute the standard being developed. On reaching a consensus and finalizing its decision on the draft standard after the public comment stage, it is then gazetted. After this, the document becomes ready for use as a national standard. The Standards Division ensures the development of national standards and their harmonization with relevant international standards, assisting in the development of company standards for organizations, both public and private, development of standards for contractual services such as bulk commodity procurement and other services, development of standards for non-traditional exports. The Standards Division has a documentation and information center. The center provides library and information dissemination services covering promotion and sale of standards, library services including the provision of information on standards, metrology, conformity assessment, and related matters, dissemination of information on trade issues or technical regulations, standards, metrology and conformity assessment procedures to importers, exporters, and the general public. Such information is obtainable at the WTO TBT National Enquiry Point of the Ghana Standards Authority. Metrology Division. Metrology is the science of measurement which guarantees accurate and reliable measurements. Under the Weights and Measurements Decree 1975, NRCD 326, the authority offers calibration and verification services to individuals and organizations. The GSA, as the custodian of weights and measures, is responsible for the realization, establishment, and maintenance of the country's measurement system. At the Ghana Standards Authority, pattern approval is a system which ensures that imported and manufactured weights, measures, weighing and measuring instruments are not used for commercial transactions unless their pattern or types have been certified and approved by the authority. In accordance with the provisions of the Weights and Measures Decree 1975, NRCD 326, an inspector of weights and measures shall not verify, stamp, certify or authenticate any weight, measure or instrument for weighing or measuring where it presents unusual features which do not conform to the technical specifications prescribed by the authority. Pattern approval is mandatory for legal, health, environment and safety instruments. Calibration and verification of weights, measures and measuring instruments, equipment and devices used for the trade cover areas such as mass, dimensional and linear, volume and flow, pressure and force, temperature, electrical quantities, time and frequency. Here, the GSA is involved in the following, among others: calibration of weigh bridges for industrial concerns and bulk road transport, calibration of weighing and measuring instruments in hospitals and clinics, calibration of weighing and measuring instruments for post offices, supermarkets, manufacturing industries, courier service providers, and other industrial concerns, verification of fuel dispensing pumps, and verification of cocoa weighing scales in all cocoa growing centers. In the particular area of ensuring fairness in the dispensing of fuel to motorists, certified inspectors go to fuel stations to ensure that dispensing pumps for retail of petrol, gas, oil, and kerosene are delivering within the maximum permissible limits of error. Fuel stations found to be dispensing fuel with the expected accuracy are given green stickers, while those which fail the test are locked and marked with red stickers. These are displayed on the dispensing pumps at the fuel stations. A green sticker is an indication to motorists that the dispenser delivers accurately, but a red sticker shows that the dispensing machine has failed the test of accurate delivery. A dispensing pump that fails the test of accurate delivery is locked and not allowed to be used for the sale of fuel to motorists. A fabricated 10-liter measuring can, known as Ntiase Kruwa, is available at every station to be used by motorists to check the amount of fuel dispensed when they are in doubt of the quantities supplied to them. 5 laboratories of the Metrology Division have been accredited to ISO IEC 17025, the international standard for general requirements for the competence of testing and calibration laboratories. The accredited laboratories are mass, temperature, balance, volume, and pressure. The significance is that it leads to international recognition of the technical competence of the accredited laboratories and shows that results obtained are reliable, thereby enhancing trade. Preparations are also underway to ensure that 6 more laboratories in the division, namely humidity and moisture, dimensional, density, viscosity, electrical, frequency, and time, are also accredited to ISO IEC 17025. Testing Division. The Ghana Standards Authority possesses a diverse range of testing equipment and provides testing services for food and agricultural products, drugs, forensic, narcotic, psychotropic drugs, toxicological samples, cosmetics, engineering, and chemical-based products, as well as microbiological analyses of some of these products to ensure their quality and safety. Testing is conducted to ensure quality and safety of products, to ascertain that products meet acceptable standards, to provide information for decision making, to regulate the market against inferior and substandard goods, and to provide confirmation of an effective quality management system of a company. Presently, 3 laboratories in the testing division have been accredited to ISO IEC 17025, the international standard for general requirements for the competence of testing and calibration laboratories. They are microbiology, metallic contaminants, and pesticide residue laboratories. This is an attestation that analyses conducted and hence reports generated from these laboratories have international credibility, recognition, and acceptability. To meet national and international standards, testing services are provided to support the following: Product Certification Scheme, inspection of imported products under the Destination Inspection Scheme, testing services in support of the activities of hospitals, regulatory activities, law enforcement agencies, and other government departments. Export Certification Program, quality evaluation of products from industries which do not have laboratories of their own, and also from the general public. Certification Division. To ensure the health and safety of consumers and protect the environment, the Ghana Standards Authority serves as an independent third party undertaking products and systems certification, which aims to provide confidence and assurance that the product or management system complies with particular national or international standards and specifications. On a monthly basis, certification mark committee meetings are organized to examine and approve or disapprove products submitted for certification. Licenses may be issued out for the use of the GSA standard mark, also called the mark of conformity, on acceptable products. The mark indicates that the product has been produced according to an accepted standard, assures consumers that the product has been inspected, tested, and conforms to the requirements of an applicable standard, and also assures consumers of quality, reliability, safety, and value for money. Apart from product certification, management system certification is also of interest to the authority. GSA's Management System Certification Service has received accreditation to ISO IEC 17021:2011 and ISO TS 22003:2007, an indication of the acceptance of the technical competence of GSA's Management System Certification Department to offer credible and internationally recognized services to manufacturers and service providers. In this regard, the authority certifies companies in both the manufacturing and service sectors to ISO 9000 Quality Management System and ISO 22000 Food Safety Management System. Thus, companies seeking to gain international recognition to compete favorably with business organizations from other parts of the world are encouraged to contact GSA's Management System Certification Department for such services. Inspectorate Division. The Ministry of Trade and Industry in 2003 appointed GSA as the competent authority to conduct destination inspection on high-risk goods imported into the country as part of the Destination Inspection Program. High-risk goods are goods which have serious health and safety implications on the consuming public. Countries all over the world, as protection for their citizens and consumers as a whole, require that all imports are accompanied by certificates of analysis and/or conformance from a recognized body in the country of origin of the products or goods to attest to the fact that they are safe and of acceptable quality. The GSA is also the appointed competent authority for the inspection and control of fish and fishery products exported to the European Union. This means that the EU require exports certificates from Ghana Standards Authority for fish and fishery products exported from Ghana to the EU. The authority regularly carries out market surveillance activities. These are follow-up inspections in the open market on products certified by the GSA and also on imported products which filter through the land borders without examination under the Destination Inspection Program. This is to ensure that products consistently meet the requirements of applicable standards and the requirements of Ghana Standards Authority General Labeling Rules LI 1541 of 1992. LI 1541 requires consumers to look out for products with the right label indicators. Training. In line with efforts to assist organizations to become competitive, on-site and off-site training programs, seminars and workshops in metrology, standards inspection, testing and certification are organized for stakeholders in the various sectors of the economy, service and manufacturing industry, government departments and agencies, exporters and importers, non-governmental organizations, trade, business and professional associations, and the business community in general. Some of the training programs are Code of Good Practices, Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points or HACCP, Management Systems, QMS, FSMS, LQMS, etc. relevance and application of standards, import and export procedures and requirements, packaging and labeling requirements. Public education and consumer protection are considered important by the Ghana Standards Authority. Towards this end, it organizes educational campaigns to sensitize the public on issues such as the relevance and usage of standards, labeling requirements, codes of practice, as well as good manufacturing, management and trade practices. Public education is also meant to create quality and safety consciousness. The Ghana Standards Authority seeks collaboration with all stakeholders in Ghana: industry, professional bodies and associations, research and technical bodies, regulatory bodies, educational institutions, consumer associations, to succeed in its efforts to promote standardization, metrology, conformity, assessment, industrial efficiency, and development in public, industrial welfare, health, and safety. The services rendered by the Ghana Standards Authority are aimed at facilitating trade, reducing proliferation of substandard goods on the market, protecting public health and safety of consumers, as well as promoting and enhancing the growth of all industries. As a nation, we all need to embrace standardization, conformity assessment, and metrology as tools which can address the key challenges of the 21st century.
Say over.
ISO standards help developing countries realize their potential by transferring technology to them, optimizing their resources, helping them compete in global markets, promoting safety, and safeguarding the health of their citizens. Developing countries can use ISO standards to create a better life for their citizens. When it comes to developing countries, confidence has a nickname that's recognized worldwide. Now you know it too. It's ISO. How we face up to the world's energy challenges will heavily influence the future we leave for our children. Developing and deploying technologies for new and renewable energy sources can take time, but organizations can achieve immediate benefits by improving the way they manage energy. Improved energy efficiency can cut costs, conserve resources, and contribute to reducing global warming. The new ISO 50001 standard for energy management systems can help safeguard our future by making a positive difference in the here and now. When it comes to energy management, confidence has a nickname that's recognized worldwide. Now you know it too. It's ISO. No matter what country we live in, you and me and millions of people like us are passionate about protecting the environment and fighting climate change. But we know that environmental problems like pollution and climate change do not stop at borders. So tools for tackling them need to be effective on a global scale. ISO's environmental standards are tools for translating passion into effective action globally. When it comes to the environment, confidence has a nickname that's recognized worldwide. Now you know it too. It's ISO. When you're having something to eat or drink, do you ever wonder about the long road from farm or factory to your kitchen? Millions of people fall ill and even die after eating unsafe food. So to ensure the safety of food along global supply chains, global standards are needed. ISO's food standards benefit producers and manufacturers, regulators and retailers, and most important of all, you and me, the consumers. When it comes to safe food, confidence has a nickname that's recognized worldwide. Now you know it too. It's ISO. Caring for us and our loved ones requires so many aspects to meet high standards. From medical equipment to biological evaluation, from testing laboratories to health informatics. ISO's healthcare standards provide a world of solutions for manufacturers, regulators, healthcare professionals, and most important of all, for you and me as patients. When it comes to healthcare, confidence has a nickname that's recognized worldwide. Now you know it too. It's ISO. Today's world is full of challenges. For business, government, and society, facing up to these challenges requires leadership and vision. But leaders also need practical tools they can rely on. ISO standards help CEOs achieve their business objectives and provide governments and regulators with vital technical support. ISO's voluntary standards draw on a wealth of experience and expertise, are developed in partnership with government, business, and consumers, tackling the environmental, economic, and societal challenges of sustainable development. ISO provides a forum for cooperation and consensus, developing standards through the people that need them, implement them, and are affected by them. Standards help create growth, open up global markets, facilitate trade, reduce risks, and ensure that developing countries share in the benefits. ISO provides the tools to tackle challenges like climate change, sharing innovation, improving performance, and increasing energy efficiency. Standards help build partnerships, increase customer satisfaction, and ensure quality, making the world a more productive, creative, and safer place. Leaders count on ISO. With over 60 years of experience, a network of standards bodies in 163 countries acting globally and locally. More than 18,000 standards for nearly every aspect of technology and business. ISO tackles the issues that keep leaders awake at night by working hard on global solutions to global challenges. Today, tomorrow, and for the future. We live in an amazing world, full of incredible opportunities and endless possibilities. But it can also be a complex and overwhelming place, When things don't work as they should, it often means that standards are absent. But when ISO standards are applied, life is just so much richer. ISO standards help to make the world a safer, cleaner, and more efficient place. From food safety to computers, from healthcare to new technologies. There are many challenges facing our environment, economy, and society. ISO can make a positive difference to all our lives, utilizing a wealth of international experience and wisdom. In today's ever-changing world, ISO standards help create growth, open up global markets, and make trade fairer, including for developing countries. ISO standards can help tackle global challenges like climate change, road safety, energy, and social responsibility. ISO standards touch almost everything we do, keeping us connected and entertained, making us more productive, more creative, sharing ideas, promoting innovation, and keeping us safe and healthy. ISO is the world's largest developer of voluntary international standards. With over 18,000 standards for nearly every aspect of technology and business. For over 60 years, a network of standards bodies in 163 countries, working in partnership around the world and right here at home. ISO builds confidence for today, for tomorrow, and for the future. You and I and millions of people like us worldwide agree that social responsibility is needed to safeguard our future. A sustainable world depends on what we do about human rights, the environment, and ethical behavior. But to produce results, ideas need to be implemented. The ISO international standard ISO 26000 helps turn great ideas into effective actions. When it comes to social responsibility, confidence has a nickname that's recognized worldwide. Now you know it too. It's ISO.
Ghana, one of the fast developing lower middle income countries in the world. The country achieved double-digit growth of 13.5% in 2011, and future economic growth is expected to average between 4 to 7%. Projections by the IMF indicate that Ghana's imports and exports will expand between 15 and 18% annually, and exports could reach a level of $16 billion by 2017. In spite of this potential, Ghana is currently going through a lot of turbulence in its economic fortunes. The country is currently faced with huge trade and budget deficits, depreciation of the Ghana cedi against major foreign currencies. It is largely believed that part of the problem stems from the narrow export base of the country amidst high rate of imports. However, promotion of Ghana's non-traditional exports, such as palm oil, pineapples, fish, and other food products, also faces setbacks due to either poor quality of products or high rate of chemical residues and other phytosanitary issues. It is to remedy these challenges, make exported products meet international requirements, as well as enhance the capacity of quality institutions in Ghana, that the Ministry of Trade and Industry, with funding from the European Union, conceptualized and is implementing the Trade-Related Assistance and Quality Enabling Program, TRAC. Technical support for the program is being provided by Agri Consulting Europe SA.
TRAC, in actual fact, is an acronym which stands for Trade-Related Assistance and Quality Enabling Program. It's a EU-funded project with a budget of 50 million euros. And it has three components: the trade component, the quality component, and the grants components.
The TRAC program is aimed to support the government of Ghana to expand the capacity of the country in terms of trade and international import-export opportunities, both in the food and not food sector. The importance of the service that have to be provided by the government in order to support the private sector to increase their capacity and potentiality to comply with the international rules, in particularly with those of the market of destinations of their products.
This program actually came as a result of a financing agreement which was signed between the government of Ghana and the EU, and to help Ghana to be more competitive, both domestically as well as in the international market.
Trade is a very important part of the relationship between the European Union and Ghana. As you know, the European Union is a market, a single market of 28 countries, and Ghana exports to that market. In fact, almost half of Ghana's exports go to the European market.
Last year, 2013, 30.5% of Ghana's trade with the world has been done with the EU. And this amounts to an amount of around 6.8 billion euros. So we are the biggest trading partner and also, more importantly, the biggest export market for Ghana.
So we have a very big trade-related development program in Ghana. It's one of the biggest programs focusing on that area. And so that's why we have this program, this TRAC program, which is trade-related assistance, working on improving quality. I think the Q is for quality. Very much an emphasis on assistance, which is in the area of trade, but also on focusing on the quality of goods, which is so important if you're to have access to high quality markets.
And for some time now, most of our products, when they get to the EU market, are rejected as a result of contaminants. Granules and its related products, they are found to contain high levels of aflatoxins. The same with yam. They are found to, at times, contain overdose of pesticide residues. These products get rejected. As a result, as a country, we needed to put our acts together, to be able to access this market once more. Since we had a strategy of developing with exports, as export-led growth, it was necessary for us to really develop our structures, which is the national quality infrastructure, to be able to meet those international requirements.
A large segment of Ghana's exports to the EU are in the food and produce sector.
If you look at the current exports from Ghana, of course, apart from oil and fuels, and that's important, but the other areas are to do with agriculture. Bananas, pineapples, cocoa, of course, cocoa and cocoa products, and fish as well. So apart from oil, the main exports from Ghana are in the food sector.
Europe, particularly the food sector, is very, very sensitive. In the sense that in Europe there is a lot of the attention to consumers' protection. So consumers want really to know what they are eating, the quality, in the sense where the product has been produced, if they have been produced according to rules, not only strictly production rules, but also regarding the environment, the social requirements. So it becomes a very vast subject.
It is critical that EU requirements in that sector are complied with. One such major requirement is traceability. Traceability is about unbroken chain of records, which is a tool to verify claims and assure buyers about the source of their materials. Traceability through accurate maintenance and retention of records provides the ability to identify and track a product or component to its point of origin. This enables product failures or faults to be traced, identified, and confined to identifiable material. Traceability rules in the food and produce sector are quite stringent in the European Union. Therefore, this is an area in which Ghana has to build capacity.
Traceability. The buyer is by law that everybody has to know where the food is coming from. Either it is already processed, semi-processed or raw food. So all these aspects have to be considered, and they are not easy to comply with. In Ghana, this traceability is not in place, or is a very early stage with not very well defined rules. So there is a lot of improvement that potentially are there to ensure that when a product is produced and sold, we know where it comes from, and it has been controlled by someone, some authorities.
Incorporating traceability rules and requirements in its operations has greatly contributed to the success of Beaumont Farms.
With the trade component, it's looking at building the capacity of the staff of Ministry of Trade and Industry and its related agencies, like National Board for Small Scale Industries, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Ghana Standards Authority, and the other related agencies. When it comes to the quality components, we are looking at, coming out with our national quality policy in conjunction with our quality institutions, where we are trying to upgrade them to international standards so that our products, when they go through the necessary conformity assessment, will be able to access the international markets. Coming to the grant program, with that component, about 700,000 euros was given to 4 institutions. And these institutions are Ghana National Board for Small Scale Industries, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Food and Drugs Authority, as well as Ghana Standards Authority. They are supposed to come out with their own micro projects related to their mandates.
After the launch of this facility, the organizations are working to discharge the mandate for which these grants were given. The National Board for Small-Scale Industries has chosen to concentrate its efforts on small-scale businesses in the food sector. Hitherto, quality and standards in the food sector were rather low, leading to frequent outbreaks of foodborne diseases such as cholera.
Under the Trade-Related Assistance and Quality Enabling Program, NBSSI seeks to implement 2 main activities. One is sensitization or training, 2 days capacity building in food safety and quality management. And the target beneficiary are the micro and small scale operators, the business advisors of National Board for Small Scale Industry, the project officers, the business development officers that work in our organization. Then the second support is to do with quality upgrading at the enterprise level, where we seek to assist 10 enterprises to install a food safety management system so that whatever product they come up with eventually meets the required local standards as well as the internationally required standards.
One such business is Blessed Child Foods.
Food is very, very vital. It can kill, it can save a life too. I remember when we were going through the training, we were taught one thing that we should bear in mind, that how many people do you want to kill? You know, I don't want to kill anybody. So I also make sure that my workers go through training, hygiene training, food hygiene, even personal hygiene training, so that there will not be any contamination into the food that is going to the consumer. We make sure that they wear their caps, they wear their nose masks, they're wearing their protective clothing so that there won't be any contamination.
Through the training, Madam Abekwe has now improved her processes so that her products achieve quality standards. One major quality institution involved in the TRACK program is the Ghana Standards Authority. The Ghana Standards Authority, GSA, was established in 1967 and was then known as Government Chemical Laboratories.
Our mandate is that we are supposed to see to the quality infrastructure of the nation. And when we talk about quality infrastructure of a nation, we are talking about standards, metrology, and conformity assessment. The conformity assessment has three parts. That is certification, inspection, and testing. So these are the things that we do here.
The GSA also develops standards for various products and services. It is responsible for testing, inspecting, and certifying a wide range of products, of which critical example is building products. In this area, the work of GSA can make the difference between public safety and disasters that claim hundreds of lives.
It's not very easy, to determine what the cause is, but we really need to find out, okay, and that will mean doing some tests. We have some equipment that can be used to test whether they did the right mixes of concrete. We can also test whether and find out whether the right reinforcement was used, and so on and so forth.
With metrology normally deals with measurements, volumes, weights, and like our newly found oil. When you talk about the volumes that are being drilled, we are supposed to be there to measure the volumes and to verify that the amount of volumes that they are talking about is real, because government has shares in it. Things like calibration of fuel pumps to make sure that the volumes that the fuel pumps are delivering are actually the volumes, because we have instances whereby people will go and tamper, and then the person will tell you that he's giving you 1 gallon, but in actual fact, it's not 1 gallon. Things like pressure gauges in factories and whatnot, we calibrate them so that they function properly. And then when it comes to conformity assessment, testing, inspection, and certification, you inspect products to make sure that whatever they've stated really are the things that you see in the product, because we have laboratories that will test for these components, or will test for the ingredients that are that one will say that I have in my product. The TRAP program is coming from the EU, trying to help agencies like ourselves, FDA, and others. For now, what I know is that some of the equipment are in at the port. It's going to help us in the long way, because an equipment like IPC, it's an equipment that you can use for so many, like you take maybe water and want to know the minerals in it. It can instantaneously give you about 10 varieties. We have auditors from TÜV Rheinland. It's a German institution. They train auditors, accredited laboratories. It's auditors who come to audit your systems And these are the auditors that we are training. So track, in other way, is also training people as far as the auditors are concerned.
Another critical institution concerned with the track program is the Food and Drugs Authority.
The Food and Drugs Authority is mandated by the Public Health Act 2012, Act 853, to implement the highest measures and standards for safety and efficacy of foods, drugs, cosmetics, household chemicals, and medical devices that are locally manufactured, imported, distributed for sale and use to protect the consumer. We also do market surveillance of products. One, to ensure that all products that are out there are registered, so that if there are any products out there that are not registered, we bring them in and pass them through the process to ensure that they are safe for the consumer. The Food and Drugs Authority has been part of the track program since officially April 2014. And the project that the FDA is running, we have 3 components. Of the 3 components, the first one is the renovation of the lab, which has been completed, and we will be supplying us with 3 HPLCs. We also have 1 thermal gravimeter as well. We are also going to train our officers so that they will acquire knowledge to help them to do, various activities very well. So we have 10 courses that we are planning for our staff. We have courses on foodborne disease surveillance and investigations. We have a course on apiculture. Apiculture relates to honey, on the safety of honey. We've had issues with honey and it's a new area. And this hard skill is very essential for us so that we can be on top of our game when it comes to the safety of honey. There's a section of it that is to strengthen our market surveillance. And it's a system that we are putting in place, and we'll be procuring 50 tablet PCs. And then we will have 1 mid-size server. And we're going to use a web content management system. And what that means is that officers of the board would have available to them some information on registered products. Currently, we have a list on our website where everybody can go and find out whether a product is registered or not. But with this system, it will contain additional information that would help officers take decisions in the field.
Food Research Institute, one of the quality institutions, is having one of its laboratories rebuilt and expanded, in addition to new equipment to be installed.
So food research is basically about helping the food industry to grow. And when we say to grow, we want them to produce foods that are safe for the consumers and foods that will also last a long time and not have a very short shelf life. So we look at the hygiene indicators, that's the aerobic microorganisms, the yeast and molds, and the coliforms. And we also do pathogenic tests, that's the Salmonella, the Clostridium, the Staphylococcus aureus. So we do all this to test whether the foods that are being sold on the markets are acceptable for consumers.
So in the chemistry division, food chemistry division, we have 2 labs. We have the general chemistry lab and the toxicology lab. The toxicology lab is into analysis or determination of aflatoxin content in foods. Basically grains, cereals and legumes, so maize, beans, millets, peanuts, etc.
Ghana Exports Promotion Authority is working seriously to discharge the mandate for which the grant were given.
The component 1 is capacity building of the Ghana.
Issues of quality and standards permeate every aspect of our lives today. the vehicles we drive, the roads they are driven on, the gadgets we use, and the foods we eat are all manufactured or produced according to one standard or the other. These standards have been developed over the years to ensure fitness for purpose in the case of products and good practice in the case of processes or services.
Quality infrastructure has to do with the conformity of products. It's a system which you can, of kind of services and legal elements which help you to establish the conformity of a product with the specifications or with legal requirements that are set for reasons of safety and health protection. But quality infrastructure is not only playing a role in the relationship from, say, consumers to government, but also among companies themselves, because they are also very much interested in the question, do I get what I have ordered? Is the product that I have received or the assembly that I need in order to put it into a bigger product, is that really what I wanted to have?
Besides, the existence of quality and standards enables and facilitates trade and promotes technological advancement throughout the world. Standards also enable interoperability. This means that, for example, different components of a machine, though produced by different manufacturers, fit together and work as a unit because they have been manufactured to agreed standards. Standards are basically voluntary and they are set by industries and technical bodies in specific sectors. However, governments have also discovered the advantages of using standards in legislation. They are concerned with protection of the health of the population or the safety of consumers or our environment, or want to ensure that trade is conducted on a fair basis. Some standards have become mandatory as part of technical regulations for products. For example, in Ghana, manufacturers of table salt are required to fortify it with iodine. Also, for the sake of energy efficiency and our environment, only certain electrical bulbs, refrigerators and air conditioners can be manufactured or imported into the country. When we talk about quality, there are three main issues that must be addressed. These are metrology, standardization, and conformity assessment. Metrology is all about measurements, example length, weight, volume, pressure, temperature. Measurements must be to the highest degree of accuracy.
If you cannot properly measure, you cannot make anything. So if you are dealing with, say, electronics industry, you need to be able to measure on submicron level, which is a thousandth of a millimeter. So you have to have a measurement system in your country that can accommodate to that. When you're buying something in a shop and you buy it by the kilo, is the weighing scale that you are using, is it correct? Does it really weigh a kilo? Or if you buy petrol and you buy 20 liters of petrol, did you really get 20 liters of petrol and not 19?
So we have three types of metrology. We have the scientific metrology, legal metrology, industrial metrology. Scientific metrology gives traceability to industrial and legal. Traceability here means we calibrate their working standards for them, so they can also go and work for clients. In addition to that, scientific metrology will have to establish national standards for a particular country. Then we have legal metrology. Legal metrology deals with legal instruments. Here, there are instruments that are used to provide service directly to the consumer in exchange of money. So, for example, you go to the filling station, you pay money, you are served with petrol, diesel, or kerosene through a fuel dispensing pump. So, the fuel dispensing pump is a legal instrument. You go to the butcher's shop, you want to buy meat, they use a scale. That scale is a legal instrument. For industrial metrology, it deals with the instruments that are used for measurement in a particular factory, either in the laboratory or on the production floor. So there can be pressure gauges, thermometers, density meters, thermohygrometers, a host of glassware. You can mention several of them. So metrology has a great influence or impact on consumers. One, you can look at, for example, in Ghana, our leading export is cocoa. The cocoa has to be weighed before Cocoa Board or the licensed buying companies buy from the farmers. So the cocoa has to be weighed. And they also have to determine the moisture content. And these ones, you need a moisture meter to determine the moisture content. And all these are measuring instruments. And if we don't follow the rules and we send cocoa to our buyers in Europe or in Asia like Japan, it will be rejected.
All measuring instruments in industries or laboratories must be traceable to the World Measurement Standards. A bag of cocoa should give the same weight whether it is weighed in Accra or Amsterdam. The temperature of a cold room at the Thermoport should be the same as the required temperature specified by an importer in Antwerp, Belgium. Is this cold room regularly calibrated? Can the importer trust the competence of the Calibrating Institute? That is it accredited? Then there is standardization.
The standards are there to specify and to define what you have to do.
Standards are developed by industries through consensus and collaboration. However, sometimes there are conflicts between trading partners on the interpretation of a standard, or a company wants to know whether it has correctly applied a standard.
We go back to the concept of quality. What are the minimum requirements? And these requirements have to be controlled. You cannot set up a standard with the characteristic that you are not in the position to verify. So we have to limit the standard characteristic to those aspects that we can control and verify.
In such cases, they can ask an independent third party to come in to perform testing or inspection or other control measures and make an assessment if a product, service or process is in conformity with the standard. That is why testing laboratories, inspection bodies and certification bodies are called conformity assessment bodies. So as the result of the integration and coordination of a series of activities in several interrelated subjects like standardization, metrology, testing, inspection, certification and accreditation, we may achieve quality. This complex of activities may be referred to as quality infrastructure system. The purpose of this concept in the search for quality is to follow a logical process starting with standards, measurements, and up to conformity assessment and certification of products or services. Certification can take the form of a quality seal or mark, which is a guarantee to the consumer or the market that the specifications declared by a producer are in compliance with a given standard. All good conformity assessment bodies are under the control of an accreditation body, an independent authority that performs audits on laboratories and on inspection and certification bodies to guarantee the quality and trustworthiness of tests and certificates. There are national, regional and international organizations within the quality infrastructure. One such organization is the ISO, the International Standards Organization. Also, there is the IEC, the International Electrotechnical Commission, and also regional bodies such as ASO, the African Regional Standards Organization, and national bodies like Ghana Standards Authority. Quality standards are not just about products and services, but also about the processes that deliver a particular product or service. This brings us to quality management systems. Application of quality management systems ensures that the company can continuously produce the product to the required standard every time. This then assures consumers that they are getting the same standard and the same quality anytime they make a purchase. There is certification for quality management systems. In the food sector, the popular certification is the HACCP that ensures the safety of the food produced. In the fresh agricultural produce sector, one can talk of Global GAP and Fair Trade, which are private production standards in high demand in the European market. And then in the manufacturing sector, we have the ISO 9000 or ISO 18000 for the Organization of Health and Safety in factories or on construction sites. To conclude, the point should be made that quality infrastructure is not simple business. It consists of an elaborate network of interdependencies between levels of technical and legal expertise to fulfill their functions. Producers and consumers daily make use of its components without always being aware of it.
Especially for developing countries, applying standards that have been developed internationally brings them to the state of technology, the most current state of technology. Because a standard is an agreement between people in an industry about what is current and going state of technology. If you can follow the technology prescribed in standards, you will make serious advancements in your industrial development.
A quality infrastructure that is up to international standards have many advantages. It is essential for overcoming technical barriers to trade. It is key to the integration of countries into the international trade system and also enables countries to take advantage of globalization. It is for this reason that the European Union is supporting the Ghana government to carry out the trade-related assistance and quality enabling program TRACK. The TRACK program aims at instituting modern, up-to-date quality infrastructure in Ghana that would ensure that products produced in Ghana can meet international requirements so that the country can take full advantage of international trade opportunities. Moreover, quality and standards are not for only export destinations. Each and every citizen of the country deserves better quality products and services. Better quality products in the country can only result in a healthy and prosperous nation.